Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey everybody, happy Saturday. We got some news and I think we're just going to get started. This is coming from the Parliamentary Finance. It says financial digital transformation will eliminate corruption and money laundering. I believe this came out a couple days ago, but the bottom line is that here it is. It's only Saturday, but the cool part is that the what it means is going to be pretty powerful. I have a good understanding. That's my view. It says the Parliamentary Finance Committee confirmed on Friday that financial digital transformation will eliminate corruption and money laundering. So that sounds like a digital, right? Technical issue, probably something has to do with blockchain, could be XRP. We're going to find out, but let's see what happens. He goes on to say that the digital transformation in the financial aspect has become an essential and very important to achieve a paradigm shift in sustainable development. So obviously this is key for the country and their financial and banking systems, I'm sure. It's possible to provide a lot of job opportunities, provide cash, liquidity to the finance ministry. It says digital transformation is not a perfectional issue, but it's essential to keep pace with the global development that is proceeding rapidly in this field. I think everybody can see that. I think you can see it on a global scale. And again, to the fore, they're involved globally, and I don't think they're going to go away. It goes on to say, while pointing out to the progress in the field of automating customs procedures to ensure financial sustainability and the diversification of the economy. So look at that. They're not only have their banking system, financial system, they're going to have their automation. And we saw an article the other day about the ICE Cutter system again, and that's at the borders. So keep all that in mind. Basically, what I think it is that there's a new age upon Iraq and the world in a digital manner. I think the world basically is experiencing this digitalization in a fast and furious type manner. Look, it looks like, the graph that's been going on, it looks like they're going to have a real problem. All those people that have been stealing and taking, etc. It's going to be in a blockchain, and they're going to know. And so it's going to go away. And so that's why they're talking about eliminate corruption and money laundering. The automation of financial and banking systems, in my view, presently, it's basically underway. And the banking system, the border crossings, they're going to put a big dent in corruption. It's not only taking place around the world, but it's taking place in Iraq. It is, interestingly enough, that new technologies are going to be a wave of the future, and I think everybody should start embracing it and take it seriously and start learning. And one of the things that we do at patreon.com/MM&C is provide some information. We're not financial advisors or anything like that. We don't put ourselves out to be that way. We just try to give information and give our opinions. And that's basically what I'm giving you tonight, is basically my opinion. But look at it this way. Digital transformation is something that's not new, and it is literally showcasing Iraq effectively, and it sounds like it's going to be a global scale. So this weekend is going to be interesting because we're coming to the close of this year. This article is about foreign policy. The demographic gift will make Iraq a global economic power. So it's suggesting that Iraq is going to be a global economic power. That's pretty powerful for a country that's at, 1,310 today on the CBI's website. I don't think it's going to stay that way. How are they going to do it? They're going to use and have help from the United States of America. It says, the demographic gift will make Iraq a global economic power with Washington's help. It looks like on Friday, the White House published the population census that was prepared by the Iraqi government, stressing that the results of the census must be respected. by all political parties. I like that part because it's political parties in Iraq to prevent serious consequences and in preparation for huge investment. So Washington's giving the politicians warning that there could be serious consequences if they don't pay attention and get on board. And because of the nature of the beast, or the good things, I shouldn't say the beast, but the nature of the good things is huge investment coming into Iraq. And they don't want to jeopardize. And so they're going to help al-Sudani's team, the MCOE, and everybody involved, the Ministry of Finance, inclusive, right? All of that. All right. It says the demographic gift as a result of high percentage of young people among its populations reached 60%, must invest correctly by implementing plans and making decisions that improve the Iraqi economy and raise investment and entrepreneurship rates and immerse the young workforce in the private sector through government initiatives that guarantee investment. So we all know that there's guarantees built into these laws that they have for investors. They're making it on an equal playing field for not only local investors but global investors. And they have laws on the books and or amendments that they're making for that process. And obviously not all investors are going to show up right away. They've already been coming in, but they're going to keep coming in for the next 5 years and maybe more. It says the United States should help the Iraqi government to exploit the demographic gift correctly and achieve the appropriate economic investment in it to prevent severe damage to Iraq and therefore the United States and its interests in the company if it fails to do so. I'm not sure that's a threat, but it's telling them that this is serious business. She's noting that failure to invest in a demographic gift correctly will lead to high unemployment, crime, political insecurity, and instability. So it's definitely a shot across the politician's bow. A huge economic force regionally and a large international one if it exploits its demographic gift as the East Asian countries did. So there's others that have done it, where it achieved what is known as their economic miracle during the 1990s through that exploitation of youth and their high percentages in society. So the emerging markets are getting noted for those that have come a long way. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few of those emerging markets that are going to be, we're going to see more about that because, a lot of the countries have been undervalued. And so I think they're probably going to have an impact when Iraq makes her final move and goes international and ends up on the Forex. It says the foreign policy report concluded by stressing the Iraqi government, along with Washington, must be keen on the success of Baghdad by exploiting its demographic gift during the next few years, stressing that the real test of the ability of the Iraqi government and regime is to lead the country correctly to ensure the continuation of international support will be after the announcement of the expected final results of the census during the next month. During the next month is only a few days away. So we're going to see how this turns out. They go on to say the percentage of the population of the working age is from about 15 to 64 years of age, which is again 62% or 60.2%. So ultimately they have a big population of a workforce. So look, for Iraq to be a global economic power, they're going to have to tap that keg of Iraq's youth and provide sustainable economic opportunities that include creation of jobs through that private sector with an internationally accepted tradable currency. Those are my words. I believe that to be true. The country has been using 000 notes for decades. We all know that. Much of the population has never used fills, coins. They've never done that. But again, they may have very little use for them to some degree. I mean, everybody needs a little bit of cash, but the bottom line is most everything is going to be electronic cards, just like we are in most of the first world. My view is basically, again, a small percentage of it's going to be smaller notes, smaller currencies, etc. But Will they have them? My understanding is that that would be an answer, would be yes. Okay, so to be a global economic power for her exchange rate will need to be far different than 1310. It's just the way it's going to be. They haven't done anything yet. They're hiding things as when it comes to that, like I mentioned before, that 4805, we believe, which has something to do with the federal budget law. And we're going to find that out as we go. But I think the expectation is that to be coming quite quickly. So here, when I say quite quickly, this article starts off within days. Businesses are confused and expectations of a rise in the dollar exchange rate in the parallel market. Remember, the parallel market is only about 3% of their total market now, because 97% have hooked up to a new electronic system in trade. For what? Dollars. The dollars on the street are going to get harder and harder to find. Therefore, it's going to be more expensive to use dinar to buy dollars. Economic expert Tamimi goes on and says this is Friday. The dollar exchange rate will continue to rise in the parallel market. Supply, demand. Okay, whatever demand's there with no supply creates the push. It says this matter has caused clear confusion in businesses. Well, these businesses are probably illicit businesses, and so they're not paying attention, or they're just not playing by the rules. So it goes on to say that there's an increasing demand for the dollar in the parallel market after this announcement due to the fears of traders' lack of knowledge of how to deal with banks regarding foreign transfers. So those that haven't done it quite yet, haven't got on board, are probably panicking a little bit because they're like, oh my God, this is really happening to us. He stresses that the increase has increased the exchange rate, and we expect the exchange rate to increase even more. And for this reason, the Central Bank of Iraq must clarify the new mechanisms for foreign transfers. I'm pretty sure they've already done that. So they go on to, they're hoping that they're going to reassure the street. Well, you're not going to reassure the street when you have 97% of all trade done properly. I think that what's left is they might need a little reassurance, but I think it's a little late. All right, so they go on to say that there are two main reasons behind the continued rise in dollar exchange rate in local markets for days. The first reason is the imminent suspension of the platform at the central bank, as this matter has caused confusion with the market, especially among the small traders who have increased their demand for dollars from the parallel market. Explaining what I did in their terms. The other reason is the proximity of the New Year's celebrations. Well, we have numerous articles that talk about, even from Iraq as far back as 2023, specifically saying that in this year they will cease that auction, and that would be by the end of the year. There are numerous ones. So keep that in mind. This isn't something new. They've been warned, and it's coming to fruition. All right. At the end of the day, the reason the parallel market is going, well, again, I already mentioned this, more dinars for dollars. It's going to cost them a lot more money. And ultimately, what's one of the key points tonight on this is that the new electronic system is going to have a lot of pressure on the parallel market, illicit trade, corruption. Okay, that's exactly what they've been talking about. Anti-money laundering, all of that. And they're cleaning house in Iraq. Iraq has been one of the most corrupt countries in the world, and that's going to change. And the United States of America, it sounds like, is here to stay with the country, like it or not. There's more articles out today about the fact that there's a shift. Hey, well, we need these guys. We need the expertise. We need the coalition to be around. And so that shift is happening. You already saw the warning signs to the politicians. There's going to be consequences if you don't do this. There's going to be a problem. You want to stay the same, then obviously the investors aren't going to come in. I don't think al-Sudani is going to stand for that. Anyway, enough for that. It says the Central Bank of Iraq honors members of the Issuance and Treasury Department on their career day. Okay. His Excellency, the Governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Mohsen al-Alaq, sponsored the first annual celebration for the employees of the issuance and treasuries in the bank and its branches. interesting they say this. Think about it. They sponsored the first annual celebration. So that means there's going to be subsequent celebrations at this time of year. It says that the ceremony witnessed the honoring of the employees who won a symbolic shield in appreciation of their distinguished efforts by the governor and his director of the Issuance and Treasury Department and branch managers. Remember, issuance is currency, treasury, bonds. That's how I'm going to show you tonight that that's what I believe that this is all about. His Excellency, the governor, praised during a speech on the sidelines of the celebration with all employees of the Central Bank of Iraq, especially the employees of the Issuance and Treasury Department, whose nature of work and positions differ from other departments and sections. We previously directed to hold a special celebration for the employees of the issuance and treasuries, currency or money, treasuries, bonds, utility for money. This comes in appreciation of their great efforts in the process of sorting, printing, issuing currency, sorting, printing, and issuing currency, and other basic tasks. Okay, so anyway, that is really fascinating because it sounds like the celebration will be an annual event. I mentioned that. Keep in mind, like I said, issuance and treasuries are currency, and issuance currency, treasuries, bonds. It's part of what? Money creation. So look, money creation, they're having a celebration. They're talking about currency. They're talking about bonds, the creation of money. So here's a couple articles that I just did a little search. I think you guys could do it as well. And I just asked a few questions, and here it comes back is that it's talking about issuance. Issuance is the process of increasing a country's money supply or money creation. It involves a variety of entities and processes that provide money to the country's economy. It sounds just like about Iraq. Central bank governors telling you that. So it says in modern economies, both central banks and commercial banks create the money. Here's a topic. It says central banks. What do? They create money as a liability called reserve deposits, which are only available to central bank account holders. Central banks can increase their amount of reserve deposits by making loans, purchasing assets, or recording an asset. Commercial banks are involved. It says they create money in the form of commercial bank deposits, which are the majority of the money supply used by the public. So commercial banks provide the mass of the money supply. Okay, commercial banks expand the amount of bank deposits by issuing loans. And that's been the whole idea. Get all that money off the street, all that hoarded money, come into the bank, and the banks do what? They use it and loan it. All right. Issuing money can help provide the economy with liquidity, which can promote economic growth and innovation. Sounds about like where Iraq's headed, right? However, if not managed carefully, there could be consequences. The government's directly issuing currency can lead to inflation. Inflation is a consequence of not playing by the rules, as we all know. Why would Allah be talking about this? I think we can all imagine quite well. Exchange rate change is likely to be coming, because they're going to have something that supports the ability to do all of this. And you'd have the United States on board for it. You'd have the coalition on board for it. You probably have the Bank of International Settlements okay with it. You probably have the World Bank okay with it, the IMF okay with it, the UN okay with it. I think everybody knows that one of the largest stakeholders in all of those agencies is the United States. And there's one last one I want to get with you on. It is this one. It's treasuries of various countries are considered bonds. So we talked about treasuries, we talked about issuance. So now we're going to just give a little bit of an explanation is all I'm going to do. A learning experience, if you don't already know. I'm sure there's many investors out there that know full well what I'm going to just explain in brief. I'm not a professional when it comes to this, but I'll tell you what, it resonates with me. A bond is a debt security issued by a government, and treasuries are a type of bond issued by a country's government. For an example, the United States Treasury. Bonds are also known as T-bonds, while UK Treasury bonds are known as gilts.
Didn't know that little part. Never had to really think about it. But anyway, they talk about risk. The risk level of a bond reflects the economic stability of the country that issues it. For example, international emerging markets, okay, EM bonds, Iraq's an emerging market, are issued by governments in developing countries and typically have higher yields, more money, to account for the higher risk of default. Investment, government securities are considered conservative investments because they're backed by the government that issued them. They are a popular choice for investors because they are considered safe and offer steady income. That's what the investors, that's what Iraq is trying to get. They're trying to make sure that they have liquidity, issuance, and bonds, safe harbor, if you will, my view. Types, there are different types of bonds, including treasury bills, treasury notes, and treasury bonds. These securities differ in how they pay interest. Well, I know that in Islam, they don't work that way, but ultimately the globe does. And so I think there's probably some sort of workaround for that. Anyway, you guys, for Al-Alaq to come back and have a celebration with the issuance in the Treasury Department for their career day, and it's going to be subsequently annually, makes you think, and then it makes you go, wow. So they're talking about the issuance of money, and aren't we waiting for a new exchange rate? Yes, we are. I think that's the whole premise here. They're getting rid of the dollar auction. Now it's called the currency window. I'm not sure if everybody caught that yet, but that's what they've changed the name to. So that new platform may be called indirectly or directly is the currency window as opposed to the dollar auction. So no wonder these guys on the street are nervous. So anyway, enjoy that. And that came out from this, the CBI on the 26th of 2024. And one sidebar, you guys, a little bit of confusion with the crew members the other day. And my bad. I noticed it at first, but we thought maybe we just had it right. But I published something, and thank you everybody that caught it. And yes, it was a few years ago, but interestingly enough, the entities that were in those meetings a few years ago are still involved, and or even Ernst & Young and Oliver Wyman and others have been working towards this right here. So yeah, forgive me or forgive us at MM&C. We do the best that we can. We do acknowledge when sometimes we get something a little bit wrong, but that's okay. But that's what we're here for, is education, and we hope we're helping you guys. So I appreciate you, and hey, have a great weekend. If you like, subscribe, hit that like button, of course, and again, thank you for all the donations that we use, PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle, and have a great weekend.
Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much, and have a great day.